Hello beloveds, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is a lady Mrs. Caleb here. I'm doing a voiceover because I completely forgot to do an intro for this part of the video. But first things first, I want to thank each and every one of you for keeping up with your lady, what's happening. So this was it was Republikein Bridal Couple of the Year dinner. This was the day before the actual event. What happened? We were invited to go to Avani, meet up with the rest of the couples, just a catch-up session. I love that because it prepared us for the following day. We won't be strangers to each other. And every couple shared their love story, how they met. Love is such a beautiful thing. Remember guys, I was how many months pregnant? That's my 9th month. I was literally, I think, a week and a few days away from my popping day. Yeah, so watch away.
Has been coming up for a long time, you know? And we've been seeing it all over the years, right? But back in the day it was rough. We didn't have these high-tech cameras that you have now, wedding planners and stuff. We were there in the garage with a film camera. Wag! Say cars het ligte aan, wag! And then you didn't know that photo was bad until you developed it. So you guys are quite fortunate. My name's Yogi. I'll be your host for our gala event here at Avani. Can we give it up for Avani? Thank you for giving us this beautiful venue and for coming through and just, you know, giving us that panache. We're on top of the world right now. It's probably how you felt when you got married, right? After the wedding, it's klaar. I'm busy eating a plate behind the DJ station. You're asking me if I edited the photos. But it's rough because, you know, so I used to take a couple of wedding photos and people have these spectacular dreams. But the budget sometimes doesn't match up. You know, I mean, it's real times, COVID kind of bit us. So you come to the wedding, she's like, yeah, I know it's going to be warm, it's going to be beach, we're going to have like flower petals on the walkway. Come there, it's dust. Beer doppies and now, but she still wants it to look like it's in her head, right? So you're snapping away, you're trying to take these photos. It gets real, guys, it gets real. And then your cousin there wants a photo for free. Now, why do you do this to us, guys?
I appreciate the person who she is. And the one thing that really stuck with me, and but
you send the photos, now let's go talk. How's it, guys? How you feeling?
Good, thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm feeling good. So, how you met? How you felt? What was that one? I got a lot of details.
Okay. So, I think he has a better story than I do, and he's a better speaker than I am, so.
not that I have a better, it's just I remember stuff and she doesn't.
Currently,
it's always a fight. I think when we need to say our story, like we need to be in separate rooms. She does that, people like that. Anyways, good evening guys. We are the Mengelas. My name is Leon Kenny and this is my beautiful wife Lydia.
Inspired by all of you guys here. I never wanted to get married, but after hearing the stories tonight, it really just opened something else within me. So yeah, I'm grateful to be here, man. So yeah.
And at some point I was like, well, I have to meet him, you know. And then my friends were like, oh my God, Bola, maybe he's a serial killer. And then before I went to Swakop to meet him, one of my friends told me, listen, I have a house in Swakop. If things go a little bit skew, then you can just go sleep there for the weekend. So we were actually in love when we met already. And it was this big moment where I climbed out of the car to greet him, and I ran, and he picked me up. And that was the moment that we met. And the moment that we met, we knew that we're gonna get married.
Actually, she was like, oh, Mona, this is Franco. And I'm like, I know him. I know he's Franco. Because listen, I've been typing this guy. Not because of anything weird or whatever, but because seeing him just gave me, I just felt good seeing him, honestly. He gave me such a peace of mind. He gave me, it just felt right, honestly. And we didn't even speak that time. So a friend of ours introduced us. We gave each other a hug, and that hug it really meant a lot. Fine, fast forward. So this guy, because he's in a relationship, I kind of had to, you know, back down a bit. And I think a month later, because after registration, I think 2 weeks later, then we have to come back to the hostel to prepare for now the semester. And I got his number somehow. And I texted him. That time he's still at home. And I texted him and I asked him for a locker.
Okay. You can just see me around the campus. I was just most of the time on my own. I was like a lone wolf, you know, sitting alone and all those things. So I knew it like 3-4 months down the line because the connection was just so real, you know. And I believe in the saying that goes like energies don't lie. If you click with someone, you click with someone. You know, it doesn't take you ages or years. It can happen in a matter of 2 days, 3 days, and then you just know. So, long story short, exactly the man who did it.
You know, when he says energies don't lie, and when I say I tracked this guy down, hey, I didn't care whether he was in a relationship. You know, when it's breakfast time, when you're in the hostel, when it's breakfast time, I knew this guy was going to breakfast at 6 o'clock. I made sure, I'm not even a breakfast girl, hey? I made sure I was in the dining hall at 6 o'clock. So this guy can see me, you know? And yeah, I made sure that this guy, 1:30, this guy would go for lunch. I made sure, even if I'm not hungry, I'm at lunch at 1:30. So long story short, we are spending forever together.
Oh, you guys are amazing, man. It reminds me, I was in the hostel, like it reminds me about this girl I met over some Marmite. Like we both went for the Marmite and our hands touched. And then we knew! It's extra strong forever. And it's the Caleb's plus one! Hey! Huh? Yeah. Is it nerves or is it like the baby? Yeah, no, but you guys are killing it, looking good. Tell us your story.
Okay, good evening everybody. My name is Pomone, this is my husband Landu. We are the Calebs, as said. He's going to speak because I keep running out of bread and dry mouth. So I hope we have a midwife or a doctor next.
Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen. How we met, it was actually a hookup. It was this day I was just home and my long lost cousin texted me. I was like, yo, it's dry out here. I'm trying to find the right person there. I'm struggling. So she was like, no, there's this friend of mine. She just came from school. She's just graduated, but she's single. Perhaps you can capitalize. Check in your gallery and check the hottest picture that you can send. So I did send her my picture and she happened to like it. So she then forwarded me her number and then she wished me luck. So I started, you know, and man got to play his cards. The first card I threw, it got me a reply, so we started chatting. She was home bored because she was still waiting to be appointed, so it started.
the chats were great, you know. From work, you just couldn't wait to get home, grab that phone and started chatting. And then she even ended up confessing that days that I wouldn't pop in, she would catch, like, why is this guy not texting? Yeah, so fast forward, the time came when we had to meet up, and she was like, no, let me see when I'll come to Windhoek, because she was based in Oshakati. So, you know, we have a tribe in the Vambus called the Ganjeras.
There she is.
She's one of them.
She stole your heart.
So she told me that no, I'll be sending you a parcel. You go collect it by my friend Taimi. She lives in Rocky Crest. So I was so excited. Like, what could this parcel be? I knocked off. I called this tiny girl, and she came out, and she's like, "Oh, I'll be back now. I'm going to get your parcel." Guess what? She was the parcel.
She's the parcel.
Laying my eyes on her for the first time, goosebumps.
Butterflies, alles.
Yes. She had red eyes. Apparently, she just changed her. She was trying ladies' lashes. Apparently, the glue was not reacting well with her eyes.
Oh wow.
Me being a gentleman, having medical aid, I'm like, no, let's go to the family.
That's a flip dog. No.
Yeah, so fast forward, she then moved to Windhoek. I normally tell her that we're just a match made, because you're in the north, you could have been sent somewhere else, but then you came to Windhoek to me, and then we just started connecting. The love just started pumping. You know, she was just hitting the right places. Was I hitting the right?
Clearly, we can see that.
Yeah, so the day we met, she came in September. September until today, the 28th. That's our anniversary, though we got married on the 6th of November. She respects the 28th of September more, because that's the day we first met. So yeah, she was just too beautiful. My friends were like, where did you get that post? So matters of the heart, I couldn't wait any longer, so I popped the question. She said yes. And now we are here.
And now you are three.
Yeah, so how the feeling, probably she can say something about how you felt it.
Okay, I just said yes because he was the only man that has ever asked me to marry him.
Oh.
Okay, so I kind of knew he was the one because everything was just moving so fast. I introduced him to my mom way too early. Everything was really just moving too fast. But then I remember he never asked me to be his girlfriend, so it was always a bother. I went out with my friends and I'm like, oh, who's the guy that dropped you? I'm like, well, we're having a thing. That time we're really in a relationship, but it was not really confirmed, and I can't ask because I don't know. It was more like, okay, you know you're in a relationship, but then I was like, a guy can decide, bruh, I never asked you to be my girlfriend. So until today, I keep telling you, never ask me to be your girlfriend. He's like, yeah, you're not my wife. Should I still not ask? Okay, let me ask. So yes, he proposed in Hilton to always be very special. And you know, when you're giving hints, man, oh, me, one day, you know, for my proposal, I would want it like this, like this. So he picked that up and he did exactly just that. It was beautiful. I knew I wanted to get married to him. I didn't know it was gonna be that soon because I was like, okay, I'm just getting my life together, you know, as a lady. I just got my permanent job and, you know, like it's just starting. I felt a bit young-ish, but then I was old enough because, I mean, 2 years later, here we are and we're still good.
You guys are beautiful.
We moved from Riego to Swako 2014, and I was like, yo, I need a barber. And my mother is a hairdresser, so she introduced me to my best friend, my best man, Nathan. He's my barber, and later on we just clicked, and he said, no, I'm also singing, and okay, so he's the guy. So ek het vir hom gesê, nee, ek is 'n drummer en ek soek iewers waar ek kan drum speel, man. It's nou al almost a year. So he raak kuru, man. Yeah, so what happened was, he said no, at his church, he will invite me and we will go and whatsoever. Then later on I went there and I learned my careers. And so I was there en ek het nooit hierdie stemmetjie gehoor en dit het baie mooi geklink. Maar toe ek nou instap, toe change die key en sy sing Jesus Take the Wheel. Daai is die tyd waar ek gewoon onthou het. She's the one. Yeah, okay, but ek lieg net. Just kidding.
Yeah, but you're making my heart go. Oh, not mine, man. We're going over there. Right, I'm saying, guys, let's give it up for our families. Yes.
Sorry, my voice is always like this. It is always like this. There will never be a day it's not like this. So anyways, I'm Sylvia, and this is my husband, Eddie. Eddie did not even know that I was going to enter the competition until he had to sign the form. That's how loud I am in this marriage.
And just help you on your way. Another round of applause, please.
Hi guys. My name is Suoma. I'm so excited. I love stories. So I'm just sitting there, just enjoying listening to these love stories, and I'm a life coach. My husband and I, we give premarital counseling, marriage counseling, relationship coaching. So this is really our arena. We are so passionate about relationships and marriage, and we just want marriages to be beautiful and to go on forever, you know? And we always get so excited when we see some of our clients there. We get so excited because we believe that part of our purpose and our mission is to make sure that people have healthy, beautiful, strong marriages. Because that's where healthy, strong societies are born, and that's how we can have a better world, is when we have strong units of people who love each other and they want to stay together and they put in the effort to stay together. So I'm very happy to be here tonight. When I got the invitation to speak, my husband and I had to sit and think about, what am I going to speak about? I mean, we're really used to working with couples before they get married, and we can work them through and, you know, all of that stuff. And so we had a lengthy discussion going back and forth, and, you know, we are so different. we have such different ways of thinking. So that's what we were thinking. We're thinking, what is the one area that we frustrate each other about as a married couple? What is the one thing that, you know, we have a bit of issues, and then I thought, it's certainly how different we are. Like, we're married, we're in our 4th year of marriage now, so not very long, but long enough. My husband calls it a bachelor's degree. But, I don't know, just by a show of hands, who is very different from their spouse here? Are you guys different completely? I mean, why is your hand too high? You get some couples that are quite similar. I mean, good for you guys, but the majority of us are like, what in the world is going on? And by a show of hands, who has had, I mean, I know you guys aren't married that long, but who has had a moment where they're having a disagreement or an argument, and then they just stopped and thought, did I marry right? did anyone ever think okay guys, I mean, we've certainly had one of those moments as well, where we literally just go back and go, did I choose this guy? And I mean, thank God we choose ourselves, right? Because if it was arranged marriages, we would have someone to blame. Yes. But now you have to sit with yourself and go, Jesus. I chose, no one. I mean, you guys are sharing your beautiful stories, and it's all about, I was so in love, and I had to say yes, and until you guys are having a serious disagreement, and you're like, yeah, no, I can't do this. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I thought I will speak about managing our differences. Because if you've seen by the show of hands, I want to assure you that the problems and the conflict and the disagreements that you're having, they're not unique to you. I know it feels like that sometimes, but they're not unique to you. All of us are having these differences and these conflicts. The key is how you manage it. That's literally the only difference. The difference between couples who stay long together and couples who divorce after 2 years, it's not that the ones that stay long together were more in love. It's not because they are soulmates, and it's not because they were absolutely perfect for each other. It's because they manage their differences. Before I get into managing their differences, I want to just get a bit of, give you a bit of an introduction on what we believe is the purpose for marriage, because that's the one thing that we just get horribly wrong from the beginning. The purpose of marriage is very important to understand, because we get so tied down into the absolute beautiful fairy tale, we just love each other, we're perfect for each other. When the hard times come, it's difficult to see past that, because you're like, if I'm not happy, then what's the point? But I want to tell you, first of all, what the purpose of marriage is not. It is not to be happy. Happy is nice. Happy is good. And you can have happy when you put in the work, but happy is not the purpose, okay? It's also not to have children. That's not the purpose of marriage, okay? So a marriage without children is still a marriage. Yes. The purpose of, yes, you can have children. It's amazing if we've got a little daughter, adorable. It's great when you have children, but that's also not the purpose. So even if you don't have children, you still have to stay married, right? The purpose of marriage is also not to build an empire. I know you men are like, I don't know what's wrong with you people. So I'm going to build an empire. I found a woman I can build with. What are you building, bro? Let's just stay married. Let's work on that. I don't know what you want to build, but right now I'm frustrated because you're not taking me on a date. But I don't know what you want to build. So the purpose of marriage is not to build an empire. You can build an empire. Some couples build empires and it's amazing, but that's not the purpose of marriage. We find the purpose in marriage in our favorite definition. I know there's a lot of definitions out there, but we find our definition in Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. It's, you know, the whole beginning description and whatever, how the world started. And there in the text it says, therefore, a man shall leave his mother and father. He shall cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one. Okay? That's our definition. So there's three things in there. The first one is you leave your mother and your father. That means you leave your past, you leave your single life, you live your wild thoughts of how you're going to build this empire, you live your single life, you leave, I don't know, whatever castles you built in the sky, and you cleave to your wife. Cleaving means to permanently glue together. Okay? Cleaving literally means I'm wedging myself to this person and I'm building something that's supposed to be eternal. Before you leave, when you're with your parents and in your single life, you have your parents who are molding you, shaping you, developing you. But you have to cut that off so that you can submit yourself to your spouse so that they can build and mold and develop you. And you do this together. You cannot properly cleave unless you properly leave. A lot of people get this wrong, okay? One of the signs that you haven't left is when you keep comparing your husband to your father or your wife to your mother. And I know sometimes you might not say it, but you act like it's like, this meat is not that. I don't know, my mother used to. It's like, okay, marry your mother then. So it might be a sign that you haven't left. Or you keep running, and some of us have really good relationships with our parents. I know that is it the V's, I don't know, she's her father's apple of her eye. And my dad and I also had this amazing relationship. It's difficult to leave. Leaving is not easy.
Yeah, true.
Leaving is painful. Leaving is difficult. Leaving is messy. Leaving makes your single friends unhappy.
So true.
Leaving can even make your own mother extremely quiet. It's like, why are you so, this woman is, it's not your whole world. And you know, Vambus have a saying of Oatura mo, because it makes people uncomfortable when you want to leave so that you can cleave. And the purpose of cleaving is so that you can become one. That's it. No children, no fairy tales, no building empires, so that you can become one. And that's the difficult part. Because we're so different. Now I have to tie myself to this person so we can become one. What does it mean to become one? It means to become one unit, one union, one team, to have one vision, one voice, one agreement, one house, one everything. Our finances are together, we live together, we have children together. It's no more me and myself and I, it's you, us, we. It's no more, I'm gonna go now, I need some time out, I'm gonna whatever. It's about what are we gonna do? How are we gonna go about this? How do you want me to do this for you? So that's the difficult part. The second thing I want to speak to you about is major differences that we have. And a lot of couples are not aware of this. There's three things that are constantly working against your unity in marriage. They're working against your marriage. The first one is your different personalities. I don't know why we become so ignorant when we're in love. I don't know, it's like when my husband kisses me on the forehead and I go, oh. It's like the brains just come out. We lose common sense when we're in love, right? You have different personalities. Some people are goal-oriented, some people are journey-oriented. You married someone who's an extrovert, you're an introvert. You married somebody who's more vocal and they speak a lot, and you are more internal, okay? It's nice to idealize and say, maybe I should have married somebody different, but you didn't. You married the one that you married. And you can get caught up in thinking, maybe if I marry somebody else, and the answer is no, you will still mess it up because you're still you. The second difference that works against our marriage is different genders. You're a man, she's a woman, you see things completely different. But now we get caught up so much into trying to make the person think like us, see like us, reason like us, feel like us, appreciate the same thing exactly the same way we appreciate them. It's impossible. We're biologically created different. Physiologically, there must be a difference too. In the way you communicate, in the way you want to feel loved. I mean, I'm a feminist. So being married is very difficult. You can get caught up into thinking, why can't my husband just be, I don't know, more modern? Just loosen up a little, or I don't know. You get caught up into saying, why can't my wife just be reasonable? Because that's not how you reason. You look at your wife and she's so unreasonable. She's not unreasonable. She's just different from you. Maybe you're the unreasonable one, right? So it's the different genders. And the third thing is our backgrounds and our upbringing. Look, if you come from a rich family, and you marry somebody who comes from a poor family, you will see things differently. You will cry and beg for a vacation while the person is thinking, how can I go for a vacation when we don't have a veranda in front of my house? Priorities are completely different, okay? The way you reason, how did you receive love when you were a child? It was completely different. Now, I say managing differences and not, I know people tend to say we need to celebrate our differences. Now forget that. You don't have to celebrate that. It's not a party, it's difficult. But you need to manage the differences. I don't want to say overcome them because again that also sounds very difficult. But you need to acknowledge that we are different. You cannot manage what you don't acknowledge. You cannot manage what you don't accept. There's two things that we tend to do. The first thing is, this is how I am. This is how you found me. You're not going to change me. Marriage is not going to change me. Especially if you've got wrong friends, huh? Oh, marriage is changing you. What do you expect? You have to change. The other mistake, which is like, it sounds like a polar opposite of that, we get so caught up into wanting to change our spouse. You have to change this. You have to stop doing this. You have to start doing this. You have to. Are you insane? Not even you can change yourself. But somehow you have the audacity to think you can change someone else. So the key is in working on yourself and accepting your partner. This sounds counterintuitive, but that's where the work really starts. When each one of you as a couple, you say, you know, I'm going to work on myself so that I can be a better wife. And the guy says, I'm going to work on myself so I can be a better husband. And then you say, I'm going to work really hard so that I can accept you for who you are. That's when the real change starts. So that was just an introduction. That's not the main thing. We have to be able to trust each other. I have to be able to trust that you will be there for me. And if you behave in a manner that makes me question that, it doesn't matter how many flowers you buy. It doesn't matter how many pieces of lingerie you buy. If that man doesn't trust you, then the marriage is on the rocks. And we engage in behavior that takes away from the trust by lying, first of all. I mean, that's an easy one. I don't even know why. Don't even lie. Like, it's okay, you can get away with it, but when your partner finds out, it's difficult to trust you again. Integrity is very important. Be where you say you will be when you say you will be. It's in the little things. Do what you say you will do when you say you will do it. It's in the little. It's not always about the big. And when I say trust, I'm not even talking about cheating or unfaithfulness or chatting in the DMs with other people. That's not. I'm just talking about the integrity to do what you say you will do, to make it easier for your partner to trust you. And this is very sensitive. Like, if you're married and you're hiding passwords from your devices, what do you expect when your wife acts unreasonable? Yeah, you're having an affair. You're just like, oh my gosh, where is she getting this from? Because you lock your phones, bro. That's it. That's all she has to go with. And you're probably not cheating, but now she can't trust it. She doesn't know what you're hiding. So that's trust. The second one is humility. A lot of us are not humble. Some of us are, too big, too educated, too grown, making too much money to be humble. Being humble means you are teachable, you can be corrected, you are not always right, you will be wrong. Yes, today your wife made a mistake, now you are on that high horse and you are beating it for what it's worth. Yeah, you are always. Okay, next month now you're wrong. What now? You will be wrong. Just get it. And in fact, this is advice to you. If your partner goes on when you're wrong, just say, okay, it's all right. It's okay. Soon enough, they will be wrong. And you need to be humble. You cannot be humble if you've got an issue with an ego. I'm going to pause here and say, a lot of us don't know that we have these issues because all we have is our own expert opinion on ourselves. So you think you're all right. You think you're good. So when your partner says, are you a narcissist? You are shocked. Me? A narcissist? I bought my grandmother groceries. I'm not selfish. I take care of my younger siblings. I'm not selfish. I'm not rude. I'm the nicest person at work. Because all you really have is your own head about what you think about what you are. Because we don't give a therapist, a psychologist, a chance to say, look at me, do I have a problem? There's so many times I'll sit in my therapist's chair and I'll just go off about my husband. I'm like, oh my God. Can you believe it? This is what he did. And then my therapist will look at me and go, wow, girl, you've got an ego. You need to give that man a break. And I'm like, what? I'm a life coach. I'm really nice. I'm not selfish. You just can't keep up with what I'm saying. That's on you. I don't have a responsibility for emotions. I'm responsible for my own emotion. I'm not responsible for your reaction. Sit with somebody who can tell you, sir, Mr. Van Wyk, listen, this is what I've observed every time we've sat together. You've got an issue and you need to apologize to your wife, okay? That's just on humility. Be humble enough to be teachable and to be told that you are wrong. You can't have an ego, you can't be selfish. Life is not about you, you're not the center of the universe. Marriage is not to serve you and make sure you've got the nice handbags and the nice dates, and it's not about getting your dinner hot all the time. I don't know who hurt you in your past, but your wife can still respect you even if your food is not hot. So what are you talking about? What is it that happened in your childhood that makes you believe that if your wife gives you food that's not a certain degree that you're not respected? Go back, because something is wrong there. So that's humility. The third one is servanthood. Being a servant is the opposite of being selfish and self-centered. You are not the most important person in your marriage. Yes, even when you're pregnant. You are not the princess. You still have the responsibility to do what you have to do. You are not the center of the universe just because, I don't know what. So your responsibility when you go into this marriage is to ask yourself the question, how can I make life better for my wife? How can I make life easier for my husband? And here's the sad part. It's easy to ask yourself this question when things are okay. I mean, of course, if my husband brings me flowers, of course I'll massage his feet. Of course he can say, baby, please get me the remote. I'm quick, you know, these things are fine. But when I'm angry and he hasn't taken me out on a date in a while and this brother says, baby, pass me the remote, get it yourself. So it's easy to be a servant when you're getting what you want. But that wouldn't be unconditional love, would it? Unconditional love is when it is not, that's when it matters the most. My husband opens the door for me every time I get into the car. He started this thing when we were dating. He said, you know, I'd like to open the door for you. I'm like, that's awkward, I don't know. This is not 1930. I'm just sit there and he's like, I want to do it. So he opens this door even when we have the most heated arguments. And every time he opens that door, I'm reminded that he chose to be with me, whatever the circumstances.
That's mine.
Okay? So this is when it matters the most, is when I've pissed him off so much. When my ego has come at him. When I am just completely disrespectful because of however I'm feeling, because I'm now the queen of the universe or whatever, and he still decides to do what he has to do because he has made a decision to serve. Servanthood is about taking a step back and saying, I am so annoyed right now, but I will do what I need to do because that's what I vowed to do. It's not about how I feel. And if you are a Christian, there's that verse that really irritates people. Wives, submit to your husbands as unto the Lord. Ooh, that verse makes me angry. It's like, But did you have to write it that way? And there's a verse that says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church. That's so difficult. I always sit back and I think, whoa, I would not want to be a man. To love someone like Jesus loves anyone, do you know what that means? And that's not conditional. It didn't say submit to your husbands when they're loving you. It didn't say love your wife when she's submitting to you. You do that even when she's being a prick. That's servanthood. And that's what will keep the marriage together. Because even if you're in love, you will piss each other off. The fourth thing is honor. And honor might be a little bit old-fashioned because we don't talk about it as much. The hashtags only talk about the dates and the opening the doors, and we speak about the nice things. That's what we see. But honor is making a decision to place a high value on your spouse. It's a decision. Because being in love is not enough. You're not going to be in love every day. And this is not a curse, guys. This is just reality. Excuse me. So you have to decide to honor your wife. So many times we dishonor each other, completely disrespect each other. You dishonor your spouse when you yell at each other. Don't yell at your spouse. Your spouse is your honorable. Your spouse, you don't gossip about your husband or your wife. You don't call them names. You don't insult them. You don't flick a middle finger at them. You present yourself in a manner that is worthy to present in front of an honorable. If Dr. Hagekinkop invited you to the State House, very few of you would wear pluckies. No? Because you're invited in the presence of an honorable. And it doesn't even matter if you disagree with his politics. It doesn't even matter if you don't like him. The office of the president requires that you dress a certain way and you carry yourself a certain way, whether you disagree, whether you like him or not. But somehow we relax when it comes to our spouses. You can do whatever you want, carry yourself however you want, talk however you want, fart, bark, whatever. And I'm all for comfort. I'm not saying don't fart in front of your spouse, but it's just an example to say sometimes we relax too much. Chun the classic, pass the glass. Oh, move, man, you are in my way. There's a certain way that you should speak to your wife, that even the people that observe you know that they will respect your wife. If you don't respect her, it doesn't matter how many times you tell your family to respect her. If you don't respect your own husband and you act like you can do better, he's not educated enough, he's not cool enough, if you dishonor your spouse, other people will have a difficult time honoring them. We also dishonor our spouses by having unrealistic expectations on them. And unrealistic expectations is easy to think of things like, money. I'm talking about expecting them to fix your life. Expecting them to be your savior. Expecting them to make you happy. How unrealistic. If you expect them to make you happy, do you know what's going to happen when you're unhappy and whatever they try is not working? You're going to think, you know what, I think I should marry somebody else. I can't do this anymore. I'm not getting what I came to get. So fix that. And I guarantee you will have a beautiful, long marriage where indeed you will make each other happy. Because you're actively working on how can I make life better for my spouse? How can I be a servant? How can I respect my husband, my wife more? You ask questions like, what do you want me to do for you? Is there anything that I'm not doing right? Is there any way that I make you feel a certain way? How can I apologize to you? Does this make you feel loved? When you make love in the bed, did you like that? Did you not like it? And you have the mindset of I'm a servant, so I'm not going to get offended when I'm told I do not like that hair. Sorry, baby, I hate it. I'm not get offended because, okay, now you fight for your hair, now what now? You don't like it? Yeah. So that's all I wanted to talk about. So those 4 things is how we manage our differences, because we are different. That's okay. Let's accept it. Let's embrace it. Let's manage them. Let's not tear each other apart because we're different. Let's acknowledge that we are different. Even when you guys, I'm sure some of you had to drag your partner today because they were just keeping you late, and you already had an argument. Now you had to worry about the babysitter. You're already upset with each other. Come from a place of, okay, I know that I'm dealing with this person that's different from me, so how can I manage that? And that's how you stay long together, even despite the conflicts and the problems. I thank you.
Thank you for Jireen, Lita, the team. Thank you for all your efforts. And yeah, I mean, this is a highlight. I'm paging through those photos myself, looking at like, okay, now I met her there. I know him there. No, he's not cool. She's cool. Yeah. Jireen.
Because I actually really don't know where to start, because it's been such an emotional journey. It's really been wonderful to get to know all of you on such a personal level. It feels like I really know all of you. I have really enjoyed it. And I've had an awesome time. I'm just glad I'm not a judge tomorrow. But on a serious note, I'd like to thank Suoma. Thank you very much. My husband and I have been married for more than 17 years, and I tell you, a friend of ours, always says, yeah, he never thinks about divorce, ever. Murder, every day. That's why thank you. I've really taken note of what you've said, and it's really words to live by. And I'd like to add to that, to all of you who've sent your beautiful letters to me. When you guys have a fight or you disagree, read those letters that you wrote to me. Read them and remember what you said to each other and why.
Yay, so we are done. We're going home. We had such a beautiful evening. Hajo. It's not my husband calling his best friend. Doors open. Woza. Beloveds, it has been a beautiful evening. We just closed off from the Republikein Bridal Couple of the Year dinner that was hosted at Avani at Stratus. So they are part of the sponsors. It was beautiful. I loved hearing the love stories, and I'm smiling because it's just a car that passed by and they are smiling at me. Beautiful love stories, beautiful things to hear, how people met. You know, it was really lovely. I had a good time. Mingled with the rest of the couple, which is amazing.
and the dearest hubstar here.
Yeah, bo, yeah, bo.
So now we headed home.
No, we headed to the catch.
We are headed to the catch, guys. This fully pregnant lady is headed to the catch.
The baby wants to dance.
Baby wants to dance a little. I think you're going to dance a little. White lies, but yes. So from the Calebs, from me specifically, Mrs. Caleb. Okay, from us the Calebs, thank you guys, and I will try and show you guys tomorrow's fun day again. So tomorrow is the main event happening at the Tourism Expo there by SKW at 11 o'clock. 150 gets you in by the time you see this event is over. But yeah, ciao.